Hi ladies, okay, I'm back with week 2 for Fill Your Freezer Fridays, and I'm going to start with a couple of maybe tips from last week. So I've had some ladies already make the recipes, and for the Chipotle chicken, everybody has loved it. I did have one lady who said that she shredded the chicken at about the 5.5 hour mark and let it continue to cook. And then when she had it out of the crock pot, it was kind of dry. So if you're gonna cook it, I would say like 7-8 hours. I would go ahead and add like half a cup of salsa. Even broth is fine. But if you're worried about that, I would go ahead and add just a tiny bit of some sort of liquid to it. And then on the beef and broccoli, again, nothing but good reviews. One lady did say that it was a little salty. We didn't add any salt, but the salt would come from whatever you use. I use Bragg's. When I make it just as it's written, and then I serve it over fried cauliflower rice and 4 to 6 cups of cooked, like frozen broccoli, thrown in the microwave, and then just mix into the crock pot before serving. Okay, so this week, I had to wait till today to get all the groceries for this, so then my timing was off, and I went to 4 stores. One store was my fault because I forgot freezer bags. So finally here, and I know that I try to shoot for 3, but sometimes life just happens. Okay, so, and I'm out of printer paper, so I had to write the stuff down. So it's Greek chicken and Asian pork tenderloins this week. So my local Brookshire's had pork tenderloins, buy one, get one for a penny. And so what I did this time, we don't technically need all the meat that's in the original recipe. So what I did is I bought 6. And so I put a whole one in each one. And then I cut 2 in half and put a half of one in each one. And then the recipe is written for the oven. It is not written for the crock pot at all. But a couple of thoughts. We are dog sitting my daughter's dog, and they have been together all day. Hey, Nike dog. Sorry. Couple of thoughts on the meat. So if you have large chunks of meat, they're going to take longer to cook than smaller pieces of meat. So if you use chicken thighs instead of whole breasts, your chicken thighs are going to cook faster than the chicken breasts. Hope that makes sense. If you are using a bigger hunk of pork, like I mentioned in the previous video, if you bought like the big pork loin, I think that's what it's called, and you use that, it's probably going to take a little bit. Dog! I would leave them outside, but they're big and they're black and it's hot outside. Dog! And my husband's home trying to sleep. This is not a good combination. Okay, focus. All right. So if you have a bigger chunk of meat, it's going to take a little bit longer to cook than it is a smaller piece of meat. And one tip also is if you did what I did and then you bought 6 pieces of meat instead of using a big one, if you really want them to cook evenly, then what my suggestion is I would go ahead and cut the holes in half. I hope this makes sense. So that I would end up with 3 halves instead of a big chunk and a smaller chunk. I hope that's clear. So with all that said, if you're worried about anything being dry, make sure you add liquid. If you are concerned with saltiness, I would pull back on things like the Bragg's, or if you use soy sauce, or the coconut liquid aminos. And then taste before serving. But this is up to you. This is, we like the recipes as they're written on my blog. That is how we eat them. Okay. And I cheated so I forgot my onion. I knew I was forgetting something. So when I finish this, I'll have to cut my onion for the Greek chicken. But I got ginger paste for my ginger this time, so I didn't have to chop it all because I was running out of time. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Asian pork. 1/3 cup of Bragg's. Now, as the recipe is written, it says to mix like the sauce ingredients or marinade, and then pour it over your pork. Pork's already in here, and I'm going to just add the sauce marinated ingredients to the bag. And if your family does not eat pork, I know like the sisters don't eat pork, You can use lots of different meats. I would probably go with chicken because I don't know, I can just get it cheap. So each bag I'm going to approximately dump in 1/3 of a cup of the Bragg's. And if you're worried about adding too much, obviously it doesn't take that much time to have a measuring cup and do this. And I probably should have used this one. I don't know. And let me get a drink real quick. It's been a hot day. This is very, very potent. And if you're worried about too much of this, then I would cut back to half. I would much rather you cook this, taste it, and add more seasoning than cook it and you think it's too strong. Again, we eat it like this, but and again, if you've never had sesame oil, like I have a friend who's never bought this because she didn't know really what it was, and so I had her smell it, and it smells and tastes the same, and it's that powerful. You only need a small amount. Yeah, that's strong. Okay, I'm probably gonna, I don't know how much I have in my bottle, so I'm just gonna guesstimate about, I'm gonna do about a tablespoon. So I am cutting back on the meat by 1/4. Yeah, I almost used the whole thing. Okay. And the recipe specifically calls for balsamic vinegar. I think I'm out, but I have rice wine vinegar, and rice wine vinegar is great in Asian food, so I'm just going to replace it with rice wine vinegar. Now you could also make this into like pork chops and grill them. And if your family doesn't eat pork, again, you could do some grilled chicken breasts. It calls for 2 tablespoons of fresh grated ginger. I'm just gonna eyeball it. Stop! My poor husband has gotten up. Stop! Nike! I've gotten up at like 3 every morning this week. I've had some long days. I wish I was. Put them outside. Okay, and then brown swerve. I had a lady, I don't know what happened last week. Doc! 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 Nike! Sorry. I don't know what to do with these dogs. If they won't quit. Okay. She said that like my recipe had sugar and stuff in it, and they don't. And like this is brown swerve. It is not brown sugar. I may run out. Okay, so I think it's 3 tablespoons. I'm just going to add what I have. Doc. I'm going to be really close to the 3 tablespoons. Okay, I did it. All right, great. Doc! Oh, makes me so mad. If you're not a dog person, I apologize. I'll be right back. I know you shouldn't do this on my video, but I'll be right back. Doc, Nike, come. Sorry, they're outside for just a few minutes. Okay, I think that this is done. Bragg's, vinegar, olive oil. And I will serve this with the Asian slaw recipe. We really like that recipe, and it's such a nice light side. Okay, so if you watched last week, how I get the, oh, that side's messed up. It smells so good. Kind of want to eat it now. I mean, you can't eat it now. Make it today. Oh, pressure cooker. That's another thing some people asked about, was recipes that are just like this, but for the pressure cooker. All you need to do is look up like how long, okay, chicken breast recipe or chicken thigh recipe, and how long they do it, and that is all you have to do. I would just cook it for that amount of time. So like These guys, I would say probably 16 minutes. Chicken breast, I'd say at least 12. Chicken thighs, 10 or 11, maybe less. I'm like off the screen. So I try to do is I try to get as much air out as possible and just have a tiny hole and then seal it. Again, you can do food saver. I have one. I don't want to take the time to figure out how to use it. I bought it at a garage sale, so it didn't come with instructions. And you can, you know, squish everything around in the bag if you want. This doesn't have anything on it. Oh, I'm so irritated. I thought I made too many. I didn't. Oh, I'm mad at myself. So you can, in the bag, just squish everything around. So what this one says on it is Asian pork tenderloins, and I'm a hot mess today. I found my labels after I labeled the bags. So cook on high, 3 to 4 hours. Again, it's going to depend on the size of your meat, and then or low, 6 to 7. And I put 723. This doesn't need anything added to it. It's all in here, and then you just pick whatever sides you want to serve it with. If you cook one anytime soon, I have an Asian cucumber recipe on my blog. My husband doesn't like cucumbers, so I don't have a lot of things with cucumbers. But that one was a really easy side, and it was really good. Okay. And then these go down so easy. And I have two of these with the little leg guys. I don't know if they're called legs. I don't know. Let me just scoot over. Come out. So if you have these, it happens, I guess, to some of them. And then how I'm storing them is in here. It's not attractive, but it works. Okay. That called for garlic. It did call for garlic. Don't be like me and forget your garlic. Okay. So here's the Greek chicken. Now on the chicken, if your family doesn't like, I had a lady say they don't like black olives. So technically, if this is going to be a bit more authentic, which I'm sure it's not, you would use Kalamata olives. I don't like Kalamata olives, so I just use regular black olives because that's my preference. And typically I would cut the olives in half, but to try to make this video so it wasn't so late, I am just going to keep them whole. Okay, it's hot. All right, so I have one tip. I'm going to leave the juice from the red peppers in. I'm just going to dump the whole thing in. I thought that Aldi had some, and either they do and I just couldn't find them, so I had to go to Walmart to get them. If you struggle with opening jars at all, you just tap it until you hear a little pop, and then it comes right open. I already did these. And I'm not a bell pepper person. If you've been here a little while, you know that. But these are already roasted. I don't like the crunchy kind at all. Okay, now, and you could, if your family likes green olives, you could use green olives. Now, it wouldn't taste the same, but it would probably still taste pretty good. But I like either. And I drained the olives, and like I said, I typically would cut these in half, but since I was running behind today, it's just going in like this. Okay, Greek chicken, olives. I have to do the onion. I forgot to do my onion. So when I finish this, I'm going to cut. I've got a couple of big red onions or purple. I don't know the right word. So I'll have to do that, and that's it. Red wine vinegar, 3 tablespoons. Just got this from Aldi. No, they're wanting back in. I gotta hurry. I don't want to leave them out there too long. I feel bad. they still have all this energy and they're still like messing around. I'm not sure I did 3 tablespoons. Let's add a little bit more. So I need to add garlic to the pork tenderloins. Don't be like me. I've just got to write one of the labels since I left it, I grabbed the wrong one. Okay, a tablespoon of minced garlic, a teaspoon of oregano, and salt and pepper. Okay. And my garlic is running so low. It's not going to be, I usually add so much garlic to recipes. I guess I've got to get garlic. Okay, I'm going to have to put a note on the Asian pork tenderloin. Since I found the stickers, I'll just add it to the sticker, or put a sticker on there that says add, it's 1 or 2 tablespoons of garlic when I cook it. Oh, and on the Greek bag, since we top it with feta, we don't cook it with feta. I put on there, I'll show you. It should say Greek chicken, cook high 2 to 3 hours. Again, it's going to depend on the size of your meat. And then low 4 to 6, top with feta. So I did put on there. So whenever the week this is going to be on my menu, I'll need to make sure I either have feta or I put feta on my shopping list. And if you aren't talking to people who are sort of here, like, you can do this so much faster than I am. One final tip, I will put the fresh red purple onion in here, but you could always just use the seasoning blend from Walmart. Yeah, I'm not going to do the salt like that. One second. And pepper. So I'm going to leave these still up like this since I need to add the onion. And that's it. So, I was saying earlier, I'm not putting the straw in here and sucking the air out of these bags. I'm not going to do it. If you want to, feel free. But I feel by squeezing the air out, I'm getting enough of the air out to not allow it to get like freezer burn. Okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to let the dogs in because I feel bad for them being outside right now. But that's it. I've got now 8 more meals for the freezer. If you have any questions or comments or anything, oh, thank you so much, Julia. I appreciate that. I haven't even looking for comments. Anyway, I've got 8 more meals for the freezer. Again, if you have thoughts or comments or questions or anything, just let me know. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great weekend.